Hello everyone. Um, my name is Payal Ramchandani. I am a Kuchipudi dance artist. I am now based in Newcastle. I would begin by thanking Meera ji for coming up with this whole idea of Munch. Um, she's been keeping all of us inspired over the last 12 days, and this will continue over the next few days. So thank you, Meera ji. I have actually learned a lot from each artist's unique journey. Also, thank you to the team, the Munch UK team, Ambika, Subhalakshmi, Sohani, and Vidya, for the excellent coordination. Thank you so much for executing this so well. Meera ji asked me if she told me that if I could talk about the milestones that have shaped my journey as an artist, and I couldn't help but look at my journey like a love story, my love story with dance. The other day I was just reading this article that according to Sufi traditions, there are various stages in a love story. And I just thought that it'll be a great idea to talk all of you through the various stages of my love story and how it all started. So let's begin from the very beginning. Attraction. How did I get attracted to dance? And I think this is very fundamental to any love story. It's the foundation for a journey that could possibly transcend time. I was born and brought up in Delhi in what I would like to call a very hybrid culture. My mother being a Keralite, born and brought up in Delhi, and my father was a Sindhi whose family had migrated from Hyderabad, Sindh in Pakistan during partition to be in Delhi. Now, I was raised like a proper Delhi girl. We used to speak Hindi and English at home, and I was sent to an all-girls convent school. It's called CJM, Convent of Jesus and Mary. If any of you are watching this who from Delhi would have heard the name of the school. And my mother says that apparently I don't know. She says that I could start dancing before I could actually start walking. So my parents collectively decided that they will put me into dance training for Indian classical dance. Now their concern was not which style should I start learning, but their concern was who would teach me that dance. So they wanted a guru who is well established and also who would teach himself or herself and not have a senior student to do so. I landed up in the very warm and protective hands of Gurus Raja and Radha Reddy and Kaushalya Reddy at their institute in Natya Tarangini in Kakanagar. That was the only branch then. Of course, now they have a lot of other branches as well. And I still remember my first day as a 4-year-old. My parents took me to Natya Tarangini, and they had a puja at their place. It's considered very auspicious to start any art form on an auspicious day. And after the puja, Kaushalya auntie asked me to just dance. She just said, whatever comes to your mind, just demonstrate something, just dance. And I have no idea what I did. I danced for some 4 to 5 minutes with no music playing, and I'm pretty sure it was extremely random. Random enough that she asked me to come and join her classes. I was in complete awe of my gurus. I wanted to follow them to the T. I would watch them perform on stage and I would have chills running down my spine. I just so wanted to be like them. When I used to watch them giving those power-packed performances, I would have that urge to just rush to stage and stand with them and perform. And so I was one of those students who would come to class early, never miss a class, come hail, come snow, practice regularly, give all the right answers. I was frantically trying to charm my love interest, which was dance. And for me, my gurus embodied dance. So I was trying to impress them, probably unknowingly. Um, and I think after a few years, um, my gurus, they told my parents that I was now ready for my Ranga Pravesham, after 5 to 6 years of my training. And I was 9, I gave my Ranga Pravesham in Delhi, and I was preparing. I think that preparation phase for my Ranga Pravesham made me cross over from the first stage of my love story into the second stage of my love story, which is attachment. My the attraction was now layered with affection. I began to feel very affectionate towards dance. I would practice in class till late hours, 10:30, 11 at night. Dance class had become second home for me. I used to eat, sleep, I used to wait there. Everything happened there. I used to have my meals there. Radha auntie would very affectionately cook for me, and days just passed, and I just felt like family. And I just felt that I was a part of their family. I would go into their house anytime and every time, and they had a beautiful premises. They had their dance class. The dancing space was just outside the house, but it was within the same premises. There was a waiting area, and my parents would wait for hours and hours for my classes to end. Both my parents, I think they've just put in so much of effort. Um, whether it was winter, summers, they would just wait endlessly for my classes to get over. I remember I used to make sure that I used to reach class early so that I could catch Guruji and Radha auntie practice, because they used to practice in the morning hours, and I used to make sure that I reach early so that I could just get a glimpse of them practicing. Um, but I did question my attachment a couple of times towards dance. I think, as any normal child, I there were times when I was reprimanded, for example, or scolded for not getting a particular emotion right, and there are various emotions which you're unable to execute, probably because of the lack of experience. I was still 13, 14, and there were a lot of emotions that I just had not experienced because life was still happening, and I cherish those moments. I think today, in hindsight, I cherish those moments the most, because more than the compliments, more than the praise that comes your way, those times when Guruji scolded me, and at that time I used to feel there used to be a mix of embarrassment and humiliation. The ego used to take a hit, probably, um, but I did not understand, and I just couldn't see the big picture as to why was that happening. I was being chiseled into an artist, into a better performer, into a better dancer. Um, and today I think I cherish those moments way more than I cherish any praise, any compliment. Um, so I think I did kind of cross over into the third and the fourth stage of my love story, which is, my love was blossoming. So that is the third stage, and the fourth stage, which is that of trust. The third and the fourth stage, I think they ran parallelly for me. Um, I had trained with the Reddys for about 15 years, and I now wanted to delve deeper, and I wanted to understand another vocabulary within the Kuchipudi style. Um, but I was drawn to dance, like, like a moth is drawn to a source of light. But this moth was, I think, attracted to two sources of light. I was academically very inclined, and I wanted to be an architect. The very idea of designing habitats for people um, was just was just extraordinary for me. Um, dance for me was dance for me was creating patterns in space, and architecture was designing the space itself. So I thoroughly enjoyed the idea of pursuing architecture, and I started preparing for architecture. I had joined an architectural college. I got into architectural school, and I think it was around that time that I had, after 15 years of training with Gurus Raja and Radha Reddy, I had now moved to Gurus Jairam Rao and Panashri Rao, um, who had also trained in the Vempati Janasatyam School of Dance, apart from being trained in the village, the Kuchipudi village. And I wanted to I wanted to delve deeper. It is now that I think, because I was at that age and stage, I was now beginning to question and look for logic and rationale um, in dance, and I used to understand. I'd begun to um, delve deeper into literature and the allied arts, um, and I had now developed a fondness for choreography as well. I remember my first day in dance class, Vanashri auntie told me that um, because I had given a lot of performances and I was a senior disciple at Guru's Raja and Radha Reddy's Institute. They said that, if you have any baggage of being an experienced performer, please leave it outside the threshold, and and then enter class. Come in as a clean slate, and there will be a little bit of unlearning that you will have to do. And I was game for that. Um, I went on to learn with them for 8 years, and while I was doing that, I think um, I started getting fond of choreography. As I said, I was watching a lot of performances. Experiences, I think, were helping me understand my dance better. I was finding I had begun to find meaning and coherence in dance. Um, I finished my architecture during this time. I had started working as an architect in a few firms, and I had also set up my own firm after that. And after that, I remember watching Guru Jaikishore Musalikanti and Padmavani Musalikanti, his wife's performance in Delhi. And I had also seen their students perform, and I had seen his choreographies as well. Um, I was also getting married in 2014. I moved to the UK in 2014. It was after that that I decided I so wanted to understand Kishoran, as we call him fondly. I also call him Guruji. I wanted to understand his process of choreography, because the one word that describes Kishorana is surrender. It's his sense of musicality, his aesthetic sense, and his way of weaving a narrative into his choreography, making it so comprehensible for not only a rasika, someone who's absolutely soaked in the art, but also for someone who is coming to watch a dance performance for the first time. It is unparalleled, in my opinion, and he sticks to the Vempati. He is a senior disciple of Guru Vempati Chinnasatyam, and his belief in his guru, I think, his surrender to not only the guru but also to the dance form is exemplary. I remember calling him up and asking him if I could learn from him his choreographies, and he told me, he asked me for some videos of mine, and he said that he warned me, in fact, that that your dance style is extremely different. Are you sure you want to do this? Because I was not trained in the Vempati Janasatyam School of Dance, and he said that it's going to be extremely difficult. There will be a lot of unlearning that you have to do, and having trained in a particular style for almost 23 years, that is ingrained in you, it's going to take a lot of effort. Do you think you want to do it? Are you sure you want to do it? I was bubbling with excitement. I said, absolutely, I will do it. And they stay in Chennai, which was a major shift for me, to go to class and train in Chennai. In 2014, I got married. In 2015, I started going to Kishorana. And I remember that first time when I stepped into class and I was learning from him, and I saw him break down the technicalities of every movement to make the student internalize every movement. I had seen nothing like that. It was, if I may say so, I don't know if he knows this also, but for me, I think that transformation, Kishoran has been responsible for transforming me from a student of dance into a disciple of dance. I realized how vast it opened new horizons for me, and just watching Kishorana teach a class can be such a learning experience. I mean, I can go on and on about him. There will be no end to this. But I am still a work in progress. I'm trying as much as I'd like to. Had things been different, probably I would have wanted to stay in Chennai, train with him 24/7. But life happens, and I am here, and I am kind of trying to balance my career in the UK, my training in India, and also performance career in India. It can be tricky sometimes, um, and but I guess I'm trying to make the best of the time I have and imbibe his teachings in his absence. Coming back to the part when I moved to the UK, so there is no relationship. Oh, by the way, this stage was the stage of worship. Kishore Anna actually made me enter the 5th stage of my love story, which is worship. I am now at that stage where I worship dance. I revere it, and he's made me realize that I am just a very tiny speck in this vast ocean of dance, and there is just so much to learn, whether it's music, it's literature, it's anything. There's just so much to learn along and take along all these aligned art forms together, and surrender to it, more importantly, and not only just take from dance, but give more than you take, way more than you take. In the UK, when I came, so there is no relationship that is complete without with the lovers stiff, the breakups. I moved to the UK in 2014, as I said, and I've been in Newcastle ever since I moved to the UK. And the initial phase when I moved to the UK was pretty daunting. As it is, I think the South Asian dance community is practically non-existent here. I was finding my ground here. I was finding it very difficult because of the absence of a guru, the absence of the dance environment. Everything had changed for me. I lost my father in 2015, in the beginning of 2015, and I moved here towards the end of 2014. So just after a few months, I lost my father. So I was going through an emotional turmoil as well. And I was trying to sail through all of that, but I think with the blessings of the Almighty and my gurus and my parents, I think I was able to pull myself up. I was doing my recce to find out about what are the organizations that could help me out, and I remember coming across Jamaats, and I got in touch with Vikas Kumar, who's a gem of a person, and I have closely collaborated with Jamaats for workshops, performances, and classes, and I'm so grateful to Vikas. I have a fantastic working relationship with Jamaats. Over the years, it's only grown to get better. I'm trying to, I think Jamaats and I have both together collaborated to make Kuchipudi more visible in the Northeast. But I did not want to limit myself to the Northeast. I also wanted to move beyond. I wanted to, because as I said, the South Asian dance community is practically non-existent. So I wanted to reach far and wide. I wanted to promote Kuchipudi across the UK. I remember getting in touch with Academy, with Meeraji, and I can't forget Meeraji's words when she told me that while this quality of patience is something that you need to cling on to, because not only will you need this in this country, you will need it more so because you're part of this fraternity. And I have clung on to it, and I hope that this stays with me for as long as it can. And there was work coming in from London as well, and I was lucky enough to come across some wonderful people, interact with some wonderful dancers. Just when I was thinking that life was, I was settling in, life happened again, and I had to move back to India for a year and a half. But when I came back, I decided that I'll apply for my own Arts Council funded project. I wanted to develop my creative practice around things that are a reflection of the society, and because I believe that art is not only for mere entertainment, it is social, it is political, and I wanted my dance practice and my work to reflect that. I got in touch with, I met Supriya Nagarajan, a wonderful composer and musician, and we collaborated for Just Enough Madness. And she is not only my mentor for this project, Just Enough Madness, but she's my mentor for helping me steer my career path in the right direction, and I am ever so grateful to her for that. I started working closely with Dance City. Thankfully, two wonderful people stepped into Dance City, Phil Douglas and Alex Onslow, we've been closely working to diversify the arts sector in the Northeast, which is the need of the hour right now. And they're really making some fantastic effort in that direction. I think there are so many people to thank. One very important experience that actually shaped me, and I have to say this. My experience with the Navarasa Sadhana workshop. I went back to India, so because I keep traveling back and forth, doing performances and for my training in India, I went to Venu sir, Venuji, the Kuriyatam exponent, legend, legend is the only word that comes to my mind. And I attended his workshop, the Navarasa Sadhana workshop, for 20 days. And I think that experience changed something for me from within. I started looking at life very differently. My approach to Abhinaya, of course, changed, but it happened because of the experience, that experience that enriched me. And I'm ever so grateful to Venu sir for that experience. So I just like to say, I think I'm probably closing in on 25 minutes now. So I would just like to say that, in relationships are beautiful, love stories are beautiful, but we often burden our lovers with expectations, with our dreams, our aspirations. But I just hope and I pray that I'm able to maintain a very symbiotic relationship with dance. I don't want to just take from dance, I want to give to dance. I think I'm at that stage where I just want to delve deep and reach as deep as I can and swim in this ocean of dance, soak myself in it, immerse myself in it, surrender myself to the dance and the Guru. I will now do a short performance, but before that I'll just say that thank you everyone. Tomorrow I think you're going to be watching Shivani Sethia, a wonderful dancer and a wonderful friend. Please do watch her. Thank you Manch once again. I will be performing a small Annamacharya poem. Saint Annamacharya's poems are very well known, and I just feel that the times that we are in, this is very relevant for that. It's a Telugu poem sung by Bombay Jayashree, and it's still in a very nascent stage, so I just worked on it the last 3-4 days because I wanted to do this. So please excuse any flaws. The poem says that everything in this life, we are all masking ourselves with emotions. We're all putting up an act, and this life is nothing but a drama. We're all wearing these masks. The only truth, and that which cannot be seen clearly, is liberation, is salvation. There are two truths, birth and death. what happens between these two truths is nothing but an act that we're all putting up. And I'd like to do this. I just feel that we trivialize so many things, and we're just so concerned with our materialistic aspirations that we forget about the bigger picture. So I just end with this. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much Meera ji and the entire team. I'll do this. Nanati Batuku Natakamu. Nanati meaning our day-to-day existence is nothing but a drama, is nothing but natak.
నానాటి బతుకు నాటకం నానాటి బతుకు నాటకం నానాటి బతుకు నాటకం నానాటి బతుకు నాటకం కామక కన్నది కైవల్యము నాటి బతుకు నాటకం కామక కన్నది కైవల్యము నాటి బతుకు కైవల్యము గగనము వేదితే కైవల్యము నాటి బతుకు నాటకం నాటి బతుకు నాటకం కన్నది కైవల్యము నాటి బతుకు నాటకం నాటకం నాటకం
Thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. And please leave them in the comment section and I will get back to them. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you.